Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá ni ẹ dìbò náà fún ọmọlúwàbí Ọ̀ṣun olóríire Ọ̀ṣun àrẹ̀mú Ọ̀ṣun ó ti sọ̀tún ní tuntun ó sọ gbódìlé ó tà sàndọjà ó sì sáwò ìyàrá olóríire ọmọ Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá ńlẹ́ ọmọlúwàbí Ọ̀ṣun Ìjẹ̀ṣà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọmọ ilẹ̀ òbí tẹ́nigbọ́lá o ọmọ agbọ́dọ̀ pọ̀ nílé ìmòyọ̀ lẹ́lẹ́ lóró ẹlẹ́fọ̀n mo kékèké ní sàṣọlódé ìsájọ ọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ ní aṣáṣọ àwọn Ìjẹ̀ṣà èyí tán rí lọ́jà ní ẹ̀rọ wá fún mi nílé máa rí yeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeye kúrú mọ́ níye. Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá la fẹ́ ọmọlúwàbí Ọ̀ṣun ni. Dákúrò ṣe tẹ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ẹ̀ má ṣe dákúrò ṣe tẹ̀.
APC change.
Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV News this hour. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. Nigeria has recorded 5 fresh cases of Ebola virus in Lagos, bringing the number of known cases in the country to 7. The country has also recorded its first known Nigerian casualty in one of the nurses who treated the first index case. Health Minister Professor Oyebuchichukwu, who confirmed this at a news conference in Abuja, disclosed that the nurse died on Tuesday. He added that all the Nigerians diagnosed of the virus had primary contact with Patrick Sawyer, the Liberian-American who brought the case into the country. The health minister says all 5 people are currently receiving treatment in an isolation ward in Lagos. But while the federal government is to recruit additional health workers to strengthen the team managing the Ebola situation in Lagos, also the health authorities are putting together a special team to provide counseling and psycho-social support for patients, identified contacts and their families. In addition, arrangements are at an advanced stage to procure isolation tents in all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. And also, the federal government is collaborating with state and local authorities in a bid to check the spread of Ebola virus disease in the country. Information Minister Labaran Marco told journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting that the government wants the states to take preventive measure against the virus. The meeting also considered a national response to the disease, which has now claimed its first Nigerian victim.
They must not wait until it comes into their borders. Every precautionary measure that should be taken by all the 36 states and the FCT must be taken. And one of such measures is to create the isolation camps in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Health, under the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Health. In addition to preparing the personal protective equipment, for health workers, and also to prepare the medical personnel in every state and set up units where we should prepare for any outbreak. The state governments have been told to create their own committees made up by the federal ministries by the state ministries of health, ministries of information, and other major stakeholders.
As at this morning, Nigeria has recorded 7 confirmed cases of Ebola virus disease as at this morning. You'll recall that the first one was the index case, the imported case from Liberia, of which the victim is now late. And yesterday, the 5th of August 2014, the first known Nigerian to die of this disease was recorded. And this was one of the nurses that had attended to the Liberian. The other 5 cases that are Ebola positive are currently being treated at the isolation ward in Lagos. It is pertinent to note that all the Nigerians that have been diagnosed of this disease, the Ebola virus disease, so far, were actually primary contacts of the index case. These are people who had direct contacts with the Liberian. And there are still more of such people. Presently, as I speak, a total of 8 persons are in the isolation ward, of which 5 have already been confirmed as Ebola, and the other 3 are being investigated.
Determined to help rid the continent of the deadly disease, the world's leading Ebola specialists have called for experimental drugs and vaccines to be offered to people in West Africa, where a vast outbreak of the disease is raging. The health experts, including Peter Piot, who co-discovered Ebola in 1976, explained that American aid workers who contracted the disease in Liberia were given the newly discovered unapproved medicine before being evacuated back to the U.S. Therefore, infected Africans too should get the same chance. They stressed that African governments should be allowed to make informed decisions about whether or not to use these products. For example, to protect and treat healthcare workers who run especially high risks of infection. According to the Ebola specialist, the World Health Organization, WHO, the only body with the necessary international authority to allow such experimental treatments, must take on this greater leadership role in giving equal opportunity to all infected. However, spokesman for the Geneva-based WHO at a London retreat on Ebola insisted that the United Nations Health Agency would not recommend any drug that has not gone through the normal process of licensing and clinical trials. Treating patients with experimental drugs that have not been tested in humans to determine safety and efficacy is highly unusual to the practice of the World Health Organization. The police have paraded the suspected Boko Haram chief butcher Zakari Mohammed to prove that he is still in custody. The suspect was arrested in the aftermath of a counter-terrorism operation in Bamo Forest in Bauchi State in July, but there were rumors that he was missing. The police had quickly reacted by dispelling the claim and paraded the suspect at a facility in Abuja. We'll bring you more details of that in our subsequent bulletin. Nigeria's anti-drug operatives have arrested a suspected drug courier at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. Ahamefune AK was arrested during a routine inward screening of passengers of an Ethiopia airline flight from South America. Anti-drug agents say the suspect was caught with high-grade cocaine in a factory-sealed package. He was said to be on his way from Venezuela. We'll bring you details of that subsequently. As the Osun 2014 governorship election draws near, the deployment of troops to provide security in the state is now generating reactions from the Nigerian public. A security expert, Femi Adegbolu, in his reaction to the militarization of election in Osun State, says it can result to intimidation of the electorate.
Security at the venue of election is okay, but there are times that it could become an overkill. So when there is too much of security, it becomes a security problem on its own. Called a situation where a civilian atmosphere is militarized. So it's an anomaly anywhere in the world. So because a lot of things can happen as a result of militarization of an election venue. For instance, even the people who are supposed to vote, they can get intimidated by the presence of the military men themselves. They are not used to the military, for God's sake. We hear of policemen, yeah, police. Okay, they can relate one-on-one with the police, but the soldiers, you know, arm-wielding soldiers, so they are not just the best way in an electoral contest at all.
So a coalition of non-governmental organizations, the Transition Monitoring Group, has spotted the massive security presence in Osun State ahead of Saturday's governorship election. The group cited the experience of its observers during recent elections in Ekiti State to emphasize its concerns.
While we need security, we also need massive security that was deployed in Ekiti. And the security also need to be better coordinated, because if you know the army was there, all kind of security was there, so you don't even know who they are taking instructions from, and this resulted even in one incident in which some army personnel beat up a police DPO in Ekiti when they asked him for identification. Even while he was on uniform, he said then he was hesitative. Then they decided to lash out at him. Then before he quickly present the identification. So I think such does not present a good image for the security in Nigeria.
And as political gladiators intensify the battle for the soul of Osun politics, Minister of State for Defense Musiliu Obanikoro has alleged the All Progressives Congress of importing aliens to the state for electoral fraud and security breach. Speaking in the same vein, PDP stalwart Femi Fani-Kayode says the party is sure of victory in Osun and it's ready to match the APC in the poll.
Acting in accordance to the vow of Mr. President in policing the forthcoming election in Osun State, the Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro, has accused the APC of planning to destabilize the forthcoming election by mobilizing people heavily from southwestern states to rig the August 9th election and cause security threats in the state. Obanikoro stressed that the federal government is poised to make the election a free and fair one, to the extent that the winner will be able to come out and congratulate the losers. He explained further that to ensure this, all polling units will be adequately secured to the level that no evil perpetrator will have any access to destabilize the election.
We have it on good authority that people are being mobilized from other states within the southwest, particularly from Lagos, Alimosho area of Lagos State, all the local governments, including the 37 LCDAs in Lagos State. We believe this kind of movement is capable of causing unnecessary crisis, and that is why we have ensured the presence of security men to ensure that people who doesn't have any business here are not here.
Femi Fani-Kayode, in his words, says he is all out to canvass for the governorship aspirant of the PDP, Yola Omishore, to ensure his victory. He emphasized that the Ekiti experience is expected to happen in Osun and ultimately take Lagos away from the APC.
We're all working night and day to ensure that what happened in Ekiti State happens in Osun State as well. As far as we're concerned, once we can achieve that, it opens the doorway.
Akin Oshotokun, an Ekiti indigene, says, drawing from Ekiti experience, the perception of military and activities of other security agencies is that of mutual collaboration and cooperation, saying there will be a replica in Osun come August 9th.
My own perception of the conduct of the military in Ekiti State actually complemented. They ensure that nobody roughened anybody up, no violence. You can go to vote without any fear of being molested by thugs or anybody. Once we have something like an election here, given the history of elections in this country, coupled with this Boko Haram insurgency, what will you do as president? You want to leave chances away?
With the presence of the Minister of State of Defense in Osun State ahead the August 9th election, the ruling APC should be prepared for a tough battle of wits come August 9th. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
The Young Educators Foundation has launched its second edition of the Spelling Bee. Oluwaseyi Adegoke was at the ceremony. Her report was presented from our studios.
Honor and privilege to declare the second season of the spelling competition duly launched. Thank you.
12-year-old Zainab Olawale from the Unity Middle School, Osogbo, is a winner of the first edition of the Spelling Bee competition in Nigeria, held in Osun. Zainab says the competition has impacted her life positively.
It started with the announcements in my school. My teacher picked 10 students from my class, and she started questioning us, and we were brought down to 5. We went for a written test, and the written test was simple for me because some of the words my teacher has taught me, and we were brought down to 3.
The Spelling Bee competition started in Ghana, modeled after the Scripps National Spelling Bee in the United States. The country director of the Young Educators Foundation in Ghana, Eugenia Tachi Mense, says the second edition is open to all states across the nation.
The plan now is, because it has worked successfully in Osun, we've done all the tests and know that we can roll it out to any state that is interested. So we're opening it up. We're opening the second edition to all the states in the country. The first prize will be a trip to the U.S. As a guest of the 88th Scripps National Spelling Bee. That normally happens in Washington in May of every year. Excuse me. The second prize winner would also win a trip to Oxford.
Head of Training and Linguistics Emmanuel Afo says the competition is to encourage children to read more.
The launch of the second edition of the Spelling Bee in Nigeria. Spelling Bee is a nerve-wracking competition.
The organizers say apart from encouraging children to read, the competition is aimed at uniting African children using education.
Branding is fundamental to the success of any business. This principle, no doubt, propelled the management of CoreTV News to carry out a unique rebranding of its television outfit. The station, which is dedicated to news reportage, operates on Star Times Channel 329. A press conference was held at the CoreTV News headquarters in Lagos to unveil the new logo. Olajumoke Olatunji has more.
Without doubt, CoreTV News is now a household name when it comes to news reporting. Barely 6 months into the operation live, the television station beaming on Star Times Channel 329 has been able to turn impressive news reports which have elicited some encouraging comments from the viewing public. The management of the television station, in keeping abreast of developments in the media world, embarked on a unique branding process which climaxed in the unveiling of a new logo for the station. Reading out the modest achievements of the television station in the last 6 months, the managing director, Jide Adediro, says the station places high premium on professionalism, which has contributed immensely to the credibility of the station.
CoreTV News is a news-oriented TV station. Okay, when we say news-oriented TV station and so far, that is not to say that we do not have programs that we do, but we have programs that are also news-oriented programs. Okay, whatever you see on our screen is something you know that is on the news, in the name of either programming and all of that. Like what we are seeing presently is in the news, okay? And that is where we are coming from. Then if you see another program, so we can't storm on our TV station and do not have information as to what is on the news, irrespective of what you see there. We're there to inform and all of that.
The Director of News and Current Affairs, Emmanuel Malago, ordered that in less than a year, the TV station is rebranding for better improvement.
We are not doing news like any other station. We're evolving. It's a gradual step. And then what you see at the moment is even just a scratch on the surface. You know, we've not started the way we, you know, it's an emerging trend for us. Meaning that, you know, from time to time, we'll review our position and see, you know, where we can improve upon, which we do from time to time. We rub minds every day to see, okay, this is how we're looking at our news. This is how we're looking at focus.
The executive director of the organization, Hakim Yusuf, speaks on the challenges confronting the industry in Nigeria and the operating business environment.
Bearing in mind that the economic situation of the country
so I will still need to pay. I haven't bought my TV, my decoder, I will still go and pay again. So when this question was thrown to NBC, they said, well, like the local station you already know, some of it will be free to air. So if you now want to view more, that is when you go and pay. So I can assure you that Nigerians will enjoy the digitalization when it is fully switched.
The public relations officer of StarTimes, NATO Ireta, says the station is full of prospects and vision. That is why StarTimes has chosen to partner the brand.
We are excited that we have CoreTV on StarTimes, and we believe that with what we have to offer Nigerians, migration and at the same time option of news, not just only news, but recent discussing news. You understand? Then it's something in which people can start to relate with and want to be a part of.
CoreTV News is a 24-hour news station with focus on in-depth news delivery and news-oriented programs. The station has accommodated young professionals with passion for developing a career in broadcasting. Its broadcast structure with 90% local content and 10% foreign injection. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
On August 9th, the people of Osun will head to the polls. Who will emerge the next governor of Osun State?
And the legitimate authority to govern this state.
20 candidates are hoping for the mantle.
Winning is not the problem, but the grace of God.
But only the people have the power to decide.
These are my people who will vote en masse for Omishori.
Join CoreTV News for an extensive live coverage of the elections, interviews, studio discussions, and more. Live on August 9th, 2014. You can also watch us live online at www.coretvnews.com. CoreTV News, our 24 hours news station.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. British Prime Minister David Cameron has advised NATO to rethink its long-term relationship with Russia and strengthen the alliance's ability to respond quickly to any threat. Cameron wrote to the Alliance Secretary General Anders Rasmussen and the 27 other NATO country leaders. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization also needs to beef up its response force of rapidly deployable land, sea, air, and special operations troops, he said.
Russia destabilized Ukraine and illegally annexed Crimea, NATO's response has focused on reassuring our eastern allies and deterring Russian aggression elsewhere. At the NATO summit, we must agree how we can sustain such a robust presence in Eastern Europe in the months ahead. So use the summit to ensure that NATO is prepared to respond swiftly to any threat against any ally, including with little warning. That means a multinational, high-readiness force that can deploy quickly on exercises in the territory of an ally that feels threatened.
That wraps it this hour. I'll be back at 9:45 with the primetime news. Join me again.